Thank you for joining us here on the Neutral Zone. I am Phil Milani, joined as always by my partner in crime, my esteemed colleague, the one and only, my everything. It's at Aric DiLalla.
Let's go.
Let's go.
It's a dub day, as they call it now, Phil.
Oh, dub day, yeah. Yeah. How was your celebratory sushi last night, Aric?
Oh, Phil, I didn't go get sushi.
You didn't do that? You're not a team player?
Nope. I am not a team player. You, of course. You said, Aric, meet me at an undisclosed sushi location.
I said, come on, let's go have a home sushi win.
And I said, no, I'm not a team player.
Yeah. You, of course, said only carbonara.
That's right. Only Italian for me.
Yeah.
Sean Payton, though.
He's a team player.
He's a team player.
Went out for sushi with his family and a little group of people, and he was not happy. But he did it.
He's a team player. It was interesting listening to Sean Payton the morning after the Broncos improved to 2-5, got their second win of the season. Phil, despite the win, Sean Payton said he was sitting there in the parking lot of a sushi establishment saying, well, I don't even like sushi.
Reliving the bad plays.
Thinking about a second down play to Javonte Williams, thinking about how the Broncos ended the game, thinking about some red zone opportunities, and just you can tell this guy is chasing perfection. It's an imperfect game, but he talks again and again about you want to be able to call that perfect game, have that perfect game, and I think in some ways you like that he's,
of course,
he is not going to be satisfied by anything less than the best, and great to get a win, but he knows there's more that this team should be doing, that it can be doing.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think that's the feeling after the game. A 19-17 win over the Packers. A lot of positive things that took place, but also, this game is always comes down to a few plays here and there. It's a game of inches, Aric. And, it's always coming down to very specific situational type of things. And the teams that make the plays in those moments go on to win those games. So you got to practice those things. And the Broncos spent a lot of time doing that during training camp. And they were able to go down and set up a game-winning field goal, albeit it was a 52-yarder, Aric. That was not an easy kick. But Will Lutz, non-traditional spelling.
That's right.
Went out there and just nailed that thing.
Yeah. He's only got one L in his first name, and he gave it to the other team.
So now he's just Wee.
Yeah.
Yeah, Wee Lutz. Yeah.
That's
a pretty good line. You just came up with that, or you had that kind of cooking?
I was just waiting.
Wow.
You just add an N to the end? Now he's Win Lutz.
Yeah.
You like that?
I do like that. Ask him about that.
Yeah. We're going to hear from Will Lutz shortly, we think, as we're recording this.
Exactly.
Yeah, Phil, I think it's just the nature of the NFL, right? You're not going to have a lot of games where you just blow teams out.
Felt like the Broncos could have done that. Like at halftime, I was like, oh, boy, just up 9-0. Happy with that, but it could have been 21-0.
Yeah, it could have been. And you got to take advantage of those opportunities. And I think this team is still working toward being a complete team that can blow teams out when they're not playing well, and certainly the Packers offense in the first half did not play well.
100 yards of offense.
Yeah.
Nice job by the Broncos defense, but also I think that the Packers would agree. And look, that's the youngest team in the NFL. Going in,
that's a good stat. Look at that.
They are. They're the youngest team in the NFL. Yeah, they got a bunch of rookies, especially on offense. And then, of course, Jordan Love, first-year starter. So the defense was licking its chops yesterday.
Matt LaFleur, I think, was asked after the game, how did things go during the bye week at working towards starting faster? And I think he said apparently not very well.
Yeah, he was very emotional on the sideline.
Yeah.
I kind of like that.
He exchanges some barbs with media members in the post-game pressers. I like it.
Yeah, I like it.
But Phil, you don't often get games where you blow teams out, and I think this team is still working toward where they can do that. But so you're going to be in these games every week where it's one play here, one play there. We've seen the Broncos win a couple of those this year. We've seen them lose a few of those. I think what impressed me in this game was that they went up and then they kind of two weird touchdowns.
Couple
really.
Of fluky plays, I would say.
Yeah, it was not necessarily like the Packers just kind of
turned it on.
Right. The weird play where, Pat Surtain, depending on which referee you ask, should have had an interception.
Yes, that was kind of a complicated thing because on the broadcast, They were talking about how Surtain's feet landed first,
Yep.
and then therefore he completed the catch first.
Right.
Therefore, it should have been an interception. But according to a pool report after the game, the referee said no. Dobbs had maintained Romeo Dobbs had maintained possession all the way through the catch, and therefore it was a completed touchdown.
Normally, a pool report for you is just kind of laying out.
A pool report includes a couple of bevies
Yeah.
and some sunshine.
Yeah, some little suntan lotion on the nose.
On the nose, zinc.
That's a normal
exactly.
pool report for you, but this
Exactly.
one,
This is a little bit
official
different.
pool report.
Well, with the weather yesterday, mid-80s or
Could have been
whatever it
both.
was, it could have been both.
Yeah,
Could have been
throw the
nice.
trunks on.
Pina colada, little umbrella.
Could have been really nice.
Yeah.
And then the second touchdown, Phil, was also bizarre.
The
And
ricochet.
Jordan Love threw it approximately 1 million miles per hour to Romeo Dobbs, kind of sidearm.
Yeah, he got Cooper up in there. I think that was Cooper, and then
Yeah.
he tried to sneak it in. He tried to Mahomes it. Whoosh. Yeah,
And
then
he threw
ricochet.
it really hard.
Yeah,
It went up in the air.
that was unbelievable.
And, just how they drew it up, it fell right to Jaden Reed.
Kevin Harlan's call was amazing.
Was
He
it?
Yeah, he was like, "You wouldn't have believed it if you didn't just see it." It was amazing.
Sure. I was sitting in the
But-
press box and I was like, that's kind of
Yeah, that's
interesting.
unfortunate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And against Washington, Phil, you saw the Broncos fall behind, not able to ultimately recover. You saw the same thing against the Jets, where
Look at the Hail Mary.
but they did not. They didn't come back
Yes,
and win
they
the
did
game.
not win the game.
The Jets, you fall behind, you have a chance late, not able to make the plays you need.
This time
This
they did
time, the Broncos come back. They it's, again, not perfect, but they find a way to go down and get 3 points.
it. Yeah.
And then the defense, Phil, I'm sitting there after that long catch and run. I believe it was A.J. Dillon. Broke a tackle. He
yes.
gets down, I think, to the Denver 45
Yeah.
or something like that.
The holding call really hurt them.
Right. But before the holding call, you're thinking, oh, man, this is not good.
Yeah.
The
Yeah,
Broncos
exactly.
have just a few yards to play with here before they're in field goal range.
Yes.
And to their credit, they make a tackle for loss on first down.
Yes.
Holding call knocks him back, and then P.J. Locke comes all the way over from the other side of the field to make an interception. And Phil, for the first time, we saw the Broncos respond to giving up that sort of lead.
Yeah.
And as Sean Payton said, the good teams in this league are able to put bad plays, bad calls, fluky plays
Short
behind
memory.
you. Yeah, and make those plays. And I think back to training camp when Sean Payton said, sometimes with this team you see one thing go wrong and then
Snowballs.
it snowballs. And yesterday against the Packers, they were able to have the short memory, get a win. And maybe that's a sign that this team is slowly starting to take form into the vision that Sean Payton has for it.
Yeah, that takes a certain level of toughness, to be able to bounce back after that. Because it would have been easy falling behind 17-16 to be like, here we go again. This team did not do that. Granted, I thought that the offense was going to continue going downfield, but it sort of stalled out there. And like we mentioned, Lutz just drilled that one. 4 field goals, Eric.
4 field goals.
That was very impressive there. But yeah, I thought a couple of things on the offensive side of the ball. 1, no turnovers. I thought was huge. They played a lot of clean football. And even Sean Payton mentioned how big it was to not have a giveaway on Sunday.
And not really an opportunity. It wasn't like somebody dropped a pick.
Yeah, exactly.
Just
Yeah,
kind
yeah.
of,
It was clean.
Right.
Efficient.
They were never in harm's way from that standpoint.
And then I thought the other thing was Cortland Sutton and Jerry Jeudy both played pretty well. I mean, they had an impact on that game. And right off the bat, Cortland Sutton was making a lot of plays, couple of third down catches on that opening drive. And you were like, okay, this feels a little bit more like how it's supposed to feel.
Yeah. Cortland, that's what you want from Cortland Sutton, big-bodied guy.
Yeah.
Throw it right into his chest on a third down and let him make a play. And he did
exactly.
that several times. I believe 3 catches for first downs on third down, and then he had the touchdown that was – when you talk about Sean
Nice little scheme
Payton's
there. Yeah, scheme that
offensive brilliance, there it was in terms of Cortland motions over from the right side. You got this bunch formation now. I believe it was Troutman and Marvin Mims who kind of run their defenders off. Cortland just a little sneaky wheel route.
Yeah.
And wide open, easy pitch and catch.
That's something that maybe earlier in the year, like I remember that Brandon Johnson got called for a pass interference on a similar-ish type of play. But this time they had the timing down right. Everything all worked how it was supposed to. And
easy play.
he was in the sun. He was enjoying himself. He was like, "Oh, the ball's in the air. Just take a second."
report.
Yeah, he had a pool report out there. Yeah, I did think
It was an easy play, right?
Man.
You like those.
That was a nice, easy touchdown. I like that one. Yeah, that's a good one.
Doesn't always need to be a one-handed grab with a defender all over.
You don't have to do that.
The wide open ones.
I like that one. Yeah. It was right into the sun though. I was like, "Uh-oh."
Yeah, catch it.
Those shadows, they seem like much worse.
Harsher than normal.
Yeah.
Some of the photography that Ben Swanson is. He's not here. No?
Ben Swanson is not here.
He's working on some of his photos.
He was at that sushi restaurant, I heard. Yeah.
Oh, outside.
Yeah, something happened.
Looking the shots.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
He moonlights for TMZ.
yeah exactly.
When he's not here.
Yep.
People don't know that, but it's true.
Yeah, exactly.
Phil, I kind of go back and forth on how I feel about yesterday because, again, the Packers are not playing great football right now.
No, like even on that Jordan Love interception at the end, I thought for sure he was just going to take something underneath and get into field goal range.
Right.
Instead, he just chucked it up into double coverage there. I was like, why?
And he probably, in fairness, he probably would have needed like 15 yards to be comfortably in field goal range.
Yeah, but at least you could have, could
have tried a 60-yarder
I forget his
something.
last name, but his first name, Anders, their
Carlson.
kicker. Carlson, yeah.
Brother of the Raiders kicker.
Oh, yeah. He was booming them in pregame.
Yeah. And he boomed a 43-yarder way left.
He missed that one.
Yeah.
But could have at least had a shot there.
Yeah.
So, but there were guys, too, on the replay. They showed the all 22. I love that shot. You can kind of just really see what happened there. There were a couple of guys who, like, he could have got the ball into underneath there.
Yeah.
So, but
that's if you study Jordan Love, he likes throwing the deep ball. He likes taking shots down the field, and the Broncos made a play.
Yes.
And they had a couple times during that game where Fabian Moreau comes in and he starts in place of Damari Mathis. Plays for him.
He played pretty well, I thought.
He did. He had a pass breakup down the sideline. Another one
in the end zone.
Yep, another one where they held the Packers to a field goal on the opening drive. Where, that was the end zone one. There was another one along the sideline that he made in the first half. He played pretty well, and I think the Broncos, to their credit, they knew the scouting report on Jordan Love, and they made the plays they needed to make. And could it have been a 2-touchdown win? I think so, had the offense played a little bit cleaner in the red zone.
Yeah.
But ultimately, teams that we talk a lot, Phil, not just winning the games you're supposed to win, but sometimes good teams find a way to pull out a win that maybe everything doesn't go perfectly, and you still find a way to get the victory.
Yeah, that's true.
That felt like yesterday for me where, hey, the Broncos probably should have won this game by a lot more, but they still found a way, even after facing some adversity, to do that. And I think that speaks pretty highly of what this team is working toward. And certainly, Phil, when we've heard Sean Payton talk recently, he's talked about the Detroit Lions, who last year made a late run, and now they're, yesterday's result notwithstanding, much better.
They got the doors blowing off.
Yeah, it was a
Dan
bad.
Campbell said maybe that was a good thing. I was like, what?
Coaches got to do whatever you can.
You got to make it sound,
And then he talked about the Carolina Panthers, who in 2014, Phil, won their last 4 games to sneak into the playoffs, and then the next year, of course, went to the Super Bowl. Sean Payton's talked about those two teams, which makes me think he's viewing this from kind of a long-term.
Yeah, you have to, I think.
Maybe a multi-year plan in terms of how to turn this thing around. But that doesn't remove the chance that, hey, maybe you start winning some football games this year and start to prove to yourself what type of team you can be moving forward.
Yeah, most definitely. I mean, it takes a point where you say, okay, I think we kind of turned a corner in these areas here, starting to play a much better defense, I think, for this Broncos team. The last 2 weeks, certainly stopping the run has looked a lot better. And you feel good for a guy like P.J. Locke, who, the drive before that, he's on the sideline, should have been in the game. They had to burn a timeout. Sean Payton was not pleased on the sideline. And then, so you feel bad. You're like, oh, PJ, he's started the season on injured reserve. Of course, K-Jack ejected from the game. He has to step into that role, and he's not out there. And the coach is upset. But then, just a few plays later, the next drive, you make the game-sealing interception. So you're happy for him there. And, everything just seems to be a little bit better on defense. So, and then, against the Packers, the offense much more productive than they were against the Chiefs. That's something that they're going to have to get turned around this week before they play Kansas City. Just see if they can score some more points, Eric. But it does feel like for the first time this year, they really played complementary football.
They did. in the kicking game they played pretty well. Obviously, the actual kicks themselves were all good, but returning, kick coverage, those sorts of things were fine.
Special teams has been pretty good this year.
Yeah, there's been a couple moments here and there, but for the most part, it's been really good.
Yeah.
Which is what you expected, right? When you brought in Ben Kotwika and Mike Westhoff, that was what you wanted from that unit.
Solid.
Phil, I think that there are a few games each year, and certainly I think the Broncos have two of them coming up the next 2 weeks against the Chiefs and Bills, where you have to go out and play really good football to go and get a win. And you've got to be exceptional at points in the game, and certainly to beat a Kansas City team that is looking like it's finding its stride, you've really got to do that. But
Kelsey.
But I think exactly, yeah. That man he's aging backwards.
Yeah, his first halves, he just he goes, I'll do everything in the first half.
Hit 170 something yards yesterday.
That was insane.
Pretty good. Hopefully he doesn't do any more.
Shannon Sharp thought he was coming after his record.
Yeah,
but he didn't get it.
He didn't get there.
Hard
to do it.
Hard to do it.
George Kittle got almost there in 1/2 against the Broncos back in 2018.
Yeah.
He still didn't do it.
He didn't do it.
But I think when you're not playing those teams, Phil, if you're playing the Packers or, looking back, the Jets, the Raiders, the Commanders, if you just don't beat yourself,
a
lot of the times you're going to be in position to win those football games. And against the Commanders, against the Jets, the Broncos, they beat themselves, essentially. And so I think moving forward, this is a good lesson for this team. Don't turn the ball over. Get one or two takeaways. Don't have penalties that hurt you in the red zone. Be a little bit more efficient down there. You don't have to be perfect. I know Sean Payton is searching for that, but as you build, you don't have to be perfect. Just don't beat yourself. And I think you're going to be in a lot of these football games, and unfortunately, at times they have beaten themselves. Yesterday, they did not do that.
Yeah.
And I think that's why they came away with a win, whereas the Packers beat themselves.
Yeah,
at
exactly.
times.
Yeah,
the holding penalty there, the missed field goal,
those things kill you.
The late interception. I mean, you're beating yourself.
Yeah,
and hard to win football games that way. And Phil, we talk a lot about New England, Pittsburgh, those types of teams where even when they don't have the most talent, they find ways to win, and it's because they don't beat themselves.
Yeah,
and we talked about that being part of the Sean Payton identity when he first got here. I think you're starting to see it come to fruition.
Yeah, and the other thing we should mention is Javonte Williams had a nice game. I think the Broncos rushed for, nearly 150 yards. He's looking like himself again. He's really hard to bring down. He made 2 runs back-to-back in the second half there where I was like, oh, this guy's back.
Yeah, it was the third highest rushing total of his career.
Yeah.
Which is kind of hard to believe, but...
And he made a couple of nice moves, too, and he broke some tackles. And, even Samaje Perine broke a nice after a catch there and took off. And, McLaughlin had a nice play early in the game. So this unit has some talent there. So...
It was interesting how they used McLaughlin. I think he only played 10 plays, but he was targeted or carried 7 of those plays.
So when he was in there,
they're using him.
Yeah. Ooh, makes you think.
Yeah.
Javonte
was real close there to breaking one.
Yeah, he was.
They got him by the foot or stumbled a little bit, but close to a 30, 40-yard touchdown on a couple of those plays.
When Sean Payton was asked Monday, hey, do you think you should be running the ball more? And he was like, this is something we're always thinking.
That's what I think about in the sushi parking lot is what he said.
Yeah. What is that for you, Aric? What's the food for you where you're like, I don't really like this, but if everybody else wants to do that, let's go ahead and do it.
Oh.
What is that for you?
Sorry, you put me on the spot here a little
bit. I know,
bit.
I kind of put you on the spot. That's a tough one. That's a tough. I don't know if I necessarily even have. I don't think I have one. I just like all kinds of foods.
I just like food.
I'll just eat it.
There's food.
Yeah. I don't know if there's anything that's like, are you a big ramen fan?
Oh,
you like ramen?
Yeah, so go to sushi.
Yeah, I do sushi.
Mexican, Italian.
All these things. Yeah. Steakhouse, of course. Yeah.
Maybe I'm not like a huge Thai person. I don't know.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, interesting. It's just interesting. Mediterranean, yeah, of course.
Yeah.
A lot of good restaurants in town here. I'll say that.
Gosh.
I'll say that. Yeah. So, but I know that if you had your choice, you would always be going for some pasta and cheese.
Of course. Yeah. Italian all the way.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Maybe I don't love like a chicken.
Oh, like if you want, is that happening a lot? Where we're like, what do you guys want to do? Like, let's go out for some chicken.
Yeah.
Just a specifically
I would do
chicken
fried
place.
chicken, but like
Yeah.
I don't love like just if someone's like, oh, you want to have us over for dinner, and what are you making?
Or a
Hot
roasted chicken.
Yeah.
Oh, I like a roast chicken.
Or like a
It's homey. Cozy.
yeah, that's true.
Yeah. Eric, the temperatures next week are supposed to dip down.
Is it?
You might want a roast chicken.
Just to keep you warm.
Yes, it does.
That could
Yeah.
be-
Warms the
That'd be
bones.
really nice.
Yeah. It's supposed to be like mid-30s, I think. I wonder, it's something to consider, like from back-to-back weeks, like a Sunday, like the high to the next
The
high.
drop.
Yeah. Because it could be like a 50-degree difference from yesterday to this upcoming Sunday. So it's going to be interesting.
The Broncos were like a 180-degree difference from
The Chiefs.
the Chiefs game 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, it was funny. Sean Payton on Monday was asked, hey, what's the difference between getting ready for the last game and this one? And he was like, there's more time.
More
'cause
days.
There's more days here.
True.
Getting ready for a Sunday game versus the Thursday game.
That is correct.
It's kind of like 3 days extra that you can get ready for this one.
You can get physically ready as well.
More physically ready, maybe a little bit more of a game plan, It's going to be... They're going to have it's an interesting situation, two games in 3 weeks
Yeah.
against the same team, of course. And, the Broncos are going to have to come up with that. They're going to have to come up with something.
And I know before the season, Phil, a lot of what we talked about, what people around Denver talked about was, and we'll talk more about this Thursday, but hey, part of what will make this season a success is beating the Chiefs. And Broncos, I don't know if I'd say they came close or not, but they were competitive in the first game. And can you find a way to continue that defensive momentum while also being much better offensively and give yourself a chance to? I mean, man, if you were to win this week, you'd feel really good.
You would, and you'd enjoy it for 2 weeks.
And you'd say, man, we're 3-5, and that's not where we want to be. But boy, we figured things out a little bit. And
yeah,
it may not mean anything long term for this season, but it would, I think, going forward, give you a lot of.
The fans would take to the streets.
You think so?
Yeah.
A lot of fans, maybe a split reaction to yesterday's victory.
Oh, like the tanking
The
crowd.
tank crowd,
and then,
not very happy.
Yeah.
I think you gotta take wins when you can get them.
Yes. I think that you have to live in reality a little bit, and it's like these guys are working hard every single week to win football games.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I don't think it's just very much like a fan's way of thinking and just be like, let's just tank this.
Right.
And like, let's just get Caleb Williams. And then like, say if Caleb Williams struggles the first couple of games, they're like, why did we do this? It's like, okay, well, you got to kind of just live in the moment.
In the reality.
Yeah, a little. Let's live in the now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Where is Patrick Mahomes drafted?
10th overall. It makes you think.
It makes you think.
It kind of makes you think a little bit.
It makes me think.
Yeah. And your guy Caleb, he hasn't been. He's had a couple of tough weeks here.
It's always a projection business.
What'd you think about him just sitting on the bench there, not going out for the handshake?
Oh,
kind of.
I don't know if
I don't know.
I don't know if I want to get into this.
Yeah. He could be. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. You just don't know. You just don't know anything. So that's why we live in the now.
Yeah. We don't know anything.
That's why. That's
the neutral zones
That's
tagline.
why we live right now.
Yep.
For today.
Yeah, Phil, I just think you got to appreciate these wins. I think it's important that this core learns how to win football games. And
at home, too. It's, you want a home win. You do it for the fans that showed up. And
you avoid, there's been a lot of history over the last few years in terms of most consecutive losing seasons.
Oh, gosh, yeah.
This would have been the most home losses to start a
Never started
season.
0-4, yeah.
I don't think you want to live in that world.
No, you don't.
And at some point, you've got to start turning this thing around and build a foundation and an expectation that, hey, it's a close game at home. We're going to find a way to win this football game.
Exactly.
And so that, to me, is more important than, can you jockey for another position here in the draft order? And,
exactly.
Again, like you said, it's not realistic just from how much effort these guys put in.
And you just don't, like, there's a lot of teams like in the Broncos similar sort of position around the league. A lot of teams that had one win won yesterday.
4 teams, I believe.
Yeah. So, like, this happens over the course of a season. You can't just be like, we're going to try and lose these games. That's just not the way the NFL works.
And I think that I saw one fan tweeted, hey, I tune in every Sunday or whenever to watch the Broncos win. I want the Broncos to win. And whatever happens at the end of the year with our draft positioning or that, we'll figure it out then. And I think that's a good approach.
I like that.
You know, like
let's win these ones.
Win some football games. And again, you don't want to be where you are at 2-5, but when you win football games, you put yourself in a position to, like, even if you win this week and it doesn't ultimately like go on to mean anything in terms of the postseason, it's good for this team to learn how to beat top opponents or string wins together. Sean Payton mentioned that yesterday after the game that, hey, we can't just win one of these. We got to start learning to string wins together. I think that's the next step for a team that's looking to be successful. I mean, you know, you're the Chiefs. You've won, what is it, 6 in a row now?
Yeah,
I believe
they're rolling now.
They're good. The Eagles,
they lost their first game and then they've won all of them.
Yeah, that's 6 in a row.
Yeah,
and so
good.
You see teams string wins together. That's what you got to find a way to do.
And rarely in the NFL does like one player come in and then all of a sudden the whole thing changes. It's sort of like it's sort of a gradual thing in most cases.
Yeah.
You know, of course there are exceptions, but usually it takes like a team to like know how to win and learn how to sort of grind and build the toughness and sort of a confidence and then that has to start somewhere. Do you know what I mean? So what's better than starting it now? Well,
and you know, everyone's talking about externally who's going to be traded, who are the Broncos going to draft. People don't have any idea what Sean Payton, what George Payton have planned or what they want to do. I mean, Sean Payton has now referenced 2 teams in the Lions and the Panthers that kind of had a more veteran core, certainly a veteran at quarterback, and found a way to turn it around the next season. And so there's been no indication even that you know, people clamoring for a high draft pick to take a quarterback or whatever. There's been no indication that's what the Broncos plan to do or want to do. I mean,
exactly.
They are focused on now and winning football games, and I think that's got to be the approach. And yesterday they showed that, you know, it might not always be pretty, but they're capable of putting themselves in those situations.
Yeah. You want to win. You play to win. We play to win the game.
Yeah, that's right.
So that's what you do.
And now you got another chance this week to get a big one.
Yeah, I mean, this one would be like sort of in a different stratosphere. This would change the whole tone of this entire team, I think.
I agree.
I don't know, like you said, who knows what that would mean, you know, with a final record and all that other stuff, you'd still be 3-5, but just the feel of everything would be like the fog had lifted, Eric, like, and sometimes it takes a win like that to kind of turn that corner and flip the script, as Sean said.
Yeah, I mean, it's a big one coming up.
So we'll talk about that, of course, a lot more coming up on Thursday. Maybe Ben Swanson will be here.
We'll see.
But for now, I think it's time for some lunch.
You're hungry.
What do you think? Sushi?
Hungry. Sushi?
What do you think?
Want to go get some sushi?
Yeah, what do? You like a spicy tuna, something like that maybe?
Yeah, of course.
Know? I like to get a little adventurous.
A little fried oyster in there?
I like to try all kinds of different things when I go for sushi. So I wonder where he was. We'll have to get to the bottom of this. All right, that's going to do it for us. For Aric DiLalla, I am Phil Milani. You've been listening to
The Neutral Zone.